Hi friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. We have a new release from Danessa Myricks Beauty. This is the Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. It's finally here. I finally have my hands on it. We're gonna play with this today and see what we can create. I also pulled out all of the other Danessa Myricks Beauty products that I own, and I'll also use some of her products today. I'm excited. Let's dive into it. Grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's play with this new palette. This palette retails for $65. It is very much up there in price, but it's a very interesting palette. This palette is the second palette in this Groundwork line. We have this one. This one is the Groundwork Defining Neutrals. I don't know if y'all recall last year when I first tried this out, I really wasn't sold on it. I just was like, I don't know how often I would reach for this, and I just was like, I don't know about this one. But it's taken me a really long time to figure out what I think is the best way to use this for me personally, how this fits in my everyday makeup routine, things like that. And I can say that this truly has grown on me. These palettes are considered all over face palettes. Me personally, I haven't found a practical way to use this for all over the face. I usually just use this for my brows and my eyes. But with this new palette right here, just look at how beautiful this gradient is. This palette I feel like I can definitely use for my eyes, but also for the cheeks. I could definitely use this for blush. I'm gonna try to use as many shades as possible. This gradient is just so eye-catching to the eyes. It looks so beautiful. What's really interesting about this is, as you can see, there is a larger pan and a smaller pan. The larger pan is the pomade shade, so if you press it, it kind of indents and you can kind of maneuver the formula. Then the smaller shade is the powder formula. The powder formula is infused with Upsilite, which helps to control the oils. So if you have oily eyelids or oily brows, this particular formula is going to be great for helping to control those oils because there's Upsilite in it. I love that there's this theme from Danessa where a lot of her products do include that Upsilite. Her Blurring Balm powder includes Upsilite. Her blushes included as well. She is an innovator. I'm gonna prime with my Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. Always, always, always prime. Always prime. Best way that I found with these is you need to go on with a kind of like a denser eyeshadow brush, nothing too flimsy and fluffy. You can, but not when you're first building up the color. I'm gonna start off with Lovesick. I like to start off with the pomade. Now this formula is a buildable formula. If you're looking for something that's going to have intense pigment, this type of formula is definitely not going to be that way. I do feel like this palette is really geared towards makeup artists. Non-makeup artists can use this. You just have to know that this is going to be a palette where you're definitely going to have to build it up. Also, the pomade shades blend very beautifully. I always go on with the pomade first, and then I like to set it with the powder. If you don't have oily eyelids, you don't have to really worry about setting the pomade, but I do. My eyelids are so oily, so I make sure to set it. I already feel like I'm gonna like this palette 100% more than the other one, just because these kind of tones are my tones. I love shades like this. Now I'm gonna go into that powder, and I'm just going to set on top. And as you can see, I feel like the powder kind of intensifies, the color as well too. I'm thinking I want to take this shade, Adorn, starting off with that pomade, and I'm going to use Adorn to further blend out that first shade I put down. I love this color gradient. Wow, love it. Such a pretty palette, and you can really see the difference between the two colors. Wow, that is so pretty. I'm really trying to use as many shades as possible. I feel like there's so many shades to choose from, but that's the goal. Look at that, so pretty. You can definitely see the difference on both sides. I feel like this side is just a little bit more seamless. Taking the powder and just going over that. Now, depending on how you feel and how much time you have, you can just go in with the powders and call it a day. Or you can do what I'm doing, go in with the creams and then go in with the powders. I do like the pomade formula just because I love that it's infused with that Upsilite, especially with oily eyelids. If I was just to go in with just the powder, my eyelids would get oily, but with this formula, I won't have a problem throughout the day seeing my eyelids kind of crease and, get oily. All right, so now I want to start deepening up this look. I think I want to take this shade Evermore. I want to kind of pop this in the outer corner just to kind of deepen up this look, I might try to do a wing a little bit, but I don't know if this is going to give me the depth I'm looking for. Let's take Dreamy, and I think I kind of want to do like a cut crease with this shade. I want to see if it'll give me, I want to see if I'm able to kind of do like a faux cut crease, but I'm only going to keep this shade in the inner part of the eye. I might have to go even lighter. I really love these tones in this palette. Really love these tones. Okay, I'm thinking I do want to go ahead and go in with that powder right on top to set that cream. Now that I have that faux cut crease, love that. I'm just going to go right on top. I'm thinking I want to go into maybe this shade right here, Desire, and then I'm going to put Desire right on the lid. Just to kind of finish off this look here. It's a really pretty peachy kind of color. Wow, this look is very spring. Now going into that powder to set that and just make sure both of those are blended seamlessly together. Because I love these tones so much, I would literally just take like one of these shades all on the lid and I'm good to go. Maybe do a wing. Let's take a little bit of crushed pomade and pop that in the very, very inner corner just for a little bit of brightness. Just for a little bit. This is the lightest shade in the palette, but I feel like I want to kind of brighten up that inner part. And then I'm going to take that powder and just go over that. Now we need to kind of clean up this part here. So I'm going to go back into Evermore pomade. And I'm just going to lightly go over the edge to make sure everything is blended seamlessly. I don't want there to be any harshness with this look. Last thing we're going to do is try to do a wing. So I'm going to take the deepest shade, which is XO. I'm going to try to do a wing. Will I be able to? We will see. I already have a black in the other one, and I love using the black shade in the first palette to create a nice shadow wing. Okay, so I was able to kind of build up the wing, but I definitely had to go back into the pan a couple of times to get it to build up. I really love this look that I created. It is so beautiful, so perfect for every day too. No matter what color I went in with, it still looks like a natural makeup look, you know? So pretty. So I didn't go on with 3 shades. This one, and this one. Let's finish this face. I'm gonna go on with the Water Powder Serum. I'm thinking we'll just use what products I have, and then when we get to basically like blush and everything, we'll go back into the Groundworks palette and use one of those shades for blush. Hopefully maybe like a nice ombre blush effect, just so we can use a couple of shades, you know. So I'm just keeping this product in my T-zone. Once it dries down onto the skin, it turns into like a powdery finish. Love it. Next, I'm going in with the Blurring Balm powder in Universal. As you can see, I have hit pan on mine. You know, I feel like that is such a huge accomplishment, especially when you have a lot of makeup in your collection and you hit pan on something. It's like, oh, okay. I definitely need to re-up on this during the Sephora sale. We're going in with the skin tint today. This is the Yummy Skin Tint. I love this skin tint. It is so beautiful. She does have a foundation. Tried the foundation, but I really wasn't a fan of that. This product though is where it's at. It's a skin tint where you can build it up to be full coverage or keep it light coverage, or if you want to go full glam with it, you can. Next, I'm going into the Balm Contour. Mine is in the shade Deep 2. It is such a pigmented product. Like, look at this. So pigmented. So you really don't need a lot, but I still feel like I'm going in with a lot. I love this product. Blending it in. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this, and I love it. It's so good. It blends so easy. When I think balm, I think very oily, but as you can see, it's not super oily and shiny. So I don't know. I don't know if I would have called this a balm, but I love it. I don't have a concealer from her or a powder, so I'm just gonna quickly do a little something something, and then we're going to move on to the blush. So I just sprayed my face with some Max Fix Blush, so it's kind of drying down. Let's try to use this palette for some blush. Got my BK Beauty 109 brush. I really feel like I want to go in. These two shades I feel like are probably my favorite shades in the palette. They keep calling to me, but I do want to tie back in some of the shades I used on the eyes onto the cheeks. So I'm thinking I want to start off with Lovesick here. Okay, picks up on there. And I'm going to keep Lovesick further back on the cheek here. Ooh, that's really pretty. I did set my face, so because this is like a cream to powder formula, I was hoping it would set on top of powder, and it absolutely does. So it looks good on top of powder. Can we get this blush shade in one of her Yummy blushes? Because listen, this shade is absolutely gorgeous. I really want to go in with Adorn. I'm not going to go in with the powder because that pan is a little bit too small. So I'm just going to take the cream to powder formula. That is beautiful. That is gorgeous. Wow. See, I couldn't do this with the first palette because it was all neutrals and none of the shades were blushy shades. But this, wow, I'm actually very impressed with using this as a blush. This looks beautiful and I love both of those shades. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. For liner, I'm going to go in with the first palette. I want to go in with the black pomade, and I'm going to use this as like my liner in my waterline. Definitely with this black, I'm going to go in with the powder and set that down. Going back into the Blooming Romance, I want to take this shade that I didn't use, which was Bliss. I want to take the pomade and just kind of smudge this on my lower lash, just to use more shades in this palette. I want to put a little highlighter on, so I'm going to go in with the Lightwork palette. This is the highlighter palette. Not sure if you can still get this, but I'm just going to mix. I'm just going to mix those two shades. I love this palette. I usually don't reach for highlighter palettes, but I do love this formula in this palette. It's very, very, very blinding. Now, do we want to do a little lip combo? I'm a little nervous about this, but we shall see. I'm going to take EXO. I don't even think this is the right brush. I don't have a lot of lip brushes. And let's line the lips. Oh, it actually works. And I am taking that pomade. Oh, wow. I don't think I've done this before. It's not going to be perfect because my brush is not the best. I kind of messed that up. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to take a liner. It works though. If you want to line your lips. Now for the lip color, let's do a little bit of, let's do Bliss. It's going to take the pomade of Bliss and put this all on the lips. Now this is a drier formula, so you're definitely going to have to put like a gloss or something on top of this. Definitely not a hydrating formula for the lips, I'll tell you that. I'm going to take the Huda Beauty gloss in clear and go on top. That is a very pretty lip color. Let's get into my thoughts on this new palette from Danessa Myricks Beauty. Wow. I love what I was able to do with this palette. I love this palette's color story way more than I loved this one. You know, this one's still really good for essentials. I mean, that's literally what this one is. It's an essential, but I love my color. But not only that, I love my blushy tones in this palette. There was only 2 shades I did not get to use, but I say that's pretty good for the look that I did. This is such a pretty everyday kind of makeup look. I probably go a little bit more subtle with the lips, but for this look, I mean, I'm loving the monochromatic vibes. Now, this palette is one of those palettes that really does have a learning curve. This is a palette where you're going to have to build it up. It's not going to give you intense pigment right away. This is a buildable palette. You really have to sit down and figure out what's the best way for you to use this. How is this going to work for you? Honestly, it took me a while to figure out how I would want to use this, what works best for me, playing around with different things, trial and error. Now that I've actually figured out this formula and the best way to use it for me, I know exactly how how I'm gonna use this. Very similar to today, this is gonna be the perfect everyday makeup look. Whenever I don't wanna just do a brown all over the lid, I have these beautiful blushy tones in this palette to use. And I also love that I can use it for blush. Okay, I love the blush today. I love the blush. So if I want a monochromatic look, I have it with this palette. This is a pretty pricey palette, but the Sephora sale is coming up very, very soon. So if you want to save some coin on it, that would be a good time to pick it up. Anything that I show you on this channel, any product that I test out, I'm never going to say that you need it. You know what I mean? It's really up to you to figure out if this is something you would get use out of. Totally up to you. It is your hard-earned money. But I'm just here to help you make a decision on if it's something you can totally skip out on, or if it's something you're like, I want to give that a try. I think I would love that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm here for. I'm your beauty bestie over here trying out products so you don't have to. But I will say, I really like this palette though. I'm just so drawn to the tones and the gradient in this palette that I'm just like, so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I love the look that I created today. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and I hope it was helpful. Let me know what you think down below. Is this something that you want to pick up? Is it something that you're going to skip out on? Did you skip out on this because you knew you weren't going to really use this color story? And is this something that you think you'll use more? Let me know down below and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.